Okay, this is Lynn Silver, and take 3 on this because multiple things, but let's also, if you have any prompts of mostly Tommy, you can ask of other things too, just mostly Tommy because he's just one of my favorite characters, and honestly, just his character is very nice. So, okay, ignore that. And prompts, I'll probably like post on my community tab, and the 100, let's say, who are here early, and those who are don't check my community tab, why don't you? I almost post everything there, like news, stories, go ahead, hell. But I have 1K and like 200 more. I don't see that reflecting on my channel, and I know it's a very small portion of you who actually watches my videos, actually likes, and actually comments, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. So, not saying that I don't, you could say it's just a part of a normal thing. Not all subscribers watch their content creators' content, and that's fine. I guess it's not just me, but so let's just continue. Prompts you want, just comment them with some description, and maybe if you want a certain way, just put it down there. Love you all, and let's get started. Izuku's POV. I saw the thing they called a Nomu charging at me. I then got hit and launched to the wall. I felt my wings ache as they dropped to the floor. The pain was excruciating, and I felt like the bones were broken, and they might be broken. I got up with my shaking legs, and trying to lift myself up to see it charging at me again before Aizawa steps in, and is fighting the Nomu. I grab a potion from my belt and drink it. I felt the potion take effect and felt my bones reconnecting, but not fully, of course. This is just a normal one. It might have been too much for the potion, so it might have not healed even everything. I then got out my bow and shot at the Nomu multiple times before it kept regenerating, making it even more difficult. I then put fire aspect and shooting it with attacks. I then aim for the head, and a large chip of its brain cuts off and separates from the brain. Okay, I've been talking for a while, so my voice is kind of hoarse, and I sort of yelled today, I'll try. And it struggles to move. I then aim again, and a large boom comes from the direction of the door, and it's All Might. I then backed away and let All Might handle this, but so I needed to tend to my wounds. But before, I say, it was meant to take you out. Don't fall back. He nods, and I get bandaged. After a couple minutes of resting, I bandaged some of my classmates who got injured. I sat down and watched as All Might kicked the Nomu's ass. The police came by and we were relieved of school for 3 weeks. I was kind of mad that UA needed that so much time to sort out things, but I blew it off. In the meantime, I'm at home and forced to be in my bed by the kids, and have no free will to get up. I then hear the door open and see Techno with a plate and a cup. I say, "What's that, Techno?" He then says, "Chicken soup with water." I say, "Thanks, buddy." He then puts it down and helped me up since when I was at the USJ, I was just running on adrenaline, so now that I'm weak. And turns out I broke a rib and my back is injured, so I need a cane. Which does not help Tommy calling me old, even though I'm still young. I'm still young. I then eat my soup, and it's actually pretty good if you ignore the little mistakes and tiny off tastes, but overall, it's good. I say, thanks, Techno, and he goes out the room. I then try to lift my wings, but it feels like having spikes going through my wings over and over again. I put them down and sigh, but get up and do a light stretch, but not my wings. Before I hear a knock at the door, I then go check it out, and it's Bakugo. He then says, wow, you look like shit. I then say, aw, you look the same. He laughs and says, well, can I come in? I say, sure, come in. He basically just comes in and plays with the kids while I sit on my couch watching, because I don't trust him too much with my kids. I then get a phone call and get up and walk to a different room and answer it since I didn't recognize it that well. So I say, hello? The other end then says, hello, is this Philza? It was a female's voice, and I recognize her and say, Christian? She then giggles and says, yep, and by that response, it's you, Phil? I then say, it's been so long. How have you been? Anything special? She then says, I've been good, but I've recently cut ties with my fiancé since he cheated on me, so yeah. I just wanted to reconnect with the people I left behind for that jerk. I then say, then how about we meet up and grab some coffee? I'll pay and I don't mind, and we can catch up. Does that sound okay? She agrees and said we can meet up at a coffee shop that was actually a bit away, but that's fine. It's good to see old faces. I then say, well, see you there, Miss Lady of Death. She giggles at the old nickname, which brought back memories from high school, and she joyously hangs up the phone. I then get dressed and left a note behind with some money for pizza and some other stuff just in case. And first put in my wings in my back. For a first time in a while, it felt weird and I will never get used to it. I do and grab a cane. By the way, he's walking with his back straight so he doesn't slouch. And walk out and find the cafe. I see Christian sitting down. She was taller than me, and last time I saw her, she probably towers over me by now. I sit down in front of her and say, why, hello, Christian. It's good to see you after all these years. She smiles and says, Phil, it's good to see you, Mr. Angel of Death, but I think Angel of Creation is a better nickname for you since you were called that too. I laugh and say, wow, I still have those nicknames still going around? I say, a bit embarrassed. She then says, how could you not have those nicknames? You did all these amazing stuff, and you were the pride of our school. You could say you were a legend, and when I visited there was a picture of you on the wall with your nicknames on it, and with one of your builds from way back when. I laugh at the compliment, feeling a bit embarrassed, and say, well, but that was years ago. She then says, you're a legend, and people who don't even know you personally know who you are. The Angel of Death and the Angel of Creation who almost took over the world, and the man who has survived 5 years in another world when others would have died. Others died within weeks or even days, but you lasted so long. You built places that only people can dream of. And besides, I heard you became a father. Her voice became lower. Is she sad? But why? I ignored it for now and say, well, but they don't have a mother, Rachel. She nodded and continued to say she was the mother of 3 of them, but she decided she didn't want kids anymore and abandoned us. But I managed. She put her hands above her mouth with a shocked look, and she apologized for bringing it up, and I reassured her that it didn't bother me, and besides, I kind of was looking for a wife or even a nanny for them, since I can't always watch them since I'm a hero in training. She then says, I just noticed, where are your wings? And the cane, why? I sigh and say, well, we got into an incident or accident, and my back, rib, and wings got banged up, so no more flying for a while. She then says, oh no, but besides that, I could be the nanny for your kids. I don't think we've met, but there's a first time for everything. I smile and say, of course, but would you be there on weekdays? I would be free on the weekends, but I don't know if you're good on the weekends. She then says, I could bring them to my work. They deal with kids on a regular basis, so why not have 3 more? I then say, I have 5 kids. 3 of them are blood related and the other 2 are adopted. She then says, that's fine, the more the merrier. She smiles and I thank her for this, and she says, no, it's fine. I always wanted kids, and this is a good experience for me and to help me in the future. We talked for hours. We even got lunch, and I invited her for dinner at my dorm. I reassured her it's bigger than, or even to hang out at my dorm, since it's bigger than what it's supposed to be, and she agrees. We walk to the entrance of the gates, and she marvels at the gates and turns to me and say, you go to UA? She looked at me in amazement, and I nod, and I take her hand and lead her to the near the dorms. I walk past the other dorms, and Christian then says, isn't that the dorms? I then say, well, yes, but I have my own separate dorms and those are for my classmates. We then walk a bit away and get to the dorms, and she awes at it and invite her in, which she agrees. We walk in and see the kids, and Bakugo passed out on the couch with pizza box on the living room table. I sigh and throw it away. They probably passed out while eating. I apologize for the mess. She laughs softly to not wake up the others. Oh, let me help you. I then say, there's no need, I can take care of it. You can go to the dining room. I'll make us some drinks. She then starts to pick up stuff and say, I insist. I sigh, seeing how she's already helping, so why not? I'll just pick up more. We cleaned up their mess and in due time, and it was done. I then walked over to the kitchen and say, what do you want? Do you want anything to drink? She nods and walks over and takes a seat. Could I have some tea? I then say, okay, what kind? Just iced tea. Can I get some sugar? And can I put it in myself? I then say, of course. I then start to make her tea and put it in some ice. And after a few seconds later, I'm done. I then sit in front of her and grab her a small container of sugar and spoon. I say, here you go, now I'll make mine. She then says, what drink are you making? I then say, oh, I'm making chamomile tea. God damn it. She then says, oh, that's a good one. I should try it later. I then say, you should, it's great, and it's good on a cold day. She then says, well, then I will. She then says with a smile, and I finish my tea and sit down next to her. I then say, would you like to hang out more often? She then says, oh, I would love to, Phil. My cheeks felt warm, and I went to drink my tea to not look her in the eyes, and I say, well, that's great. We could even meet up with our old classmates in some hangouts, but of course not all of them, since some of them can get quite annoying, and others don't like us much, or me. She then says, I do agree, but do you know this girl named Akira? Akira. Oh, the girl that tried to ruin Christian's reputation, right? Yeah, it was her. She was somewhat annoying, to say the least, but I then hum in response, and she continues to say, apparently she's doing a senior reunion, but I'm kind of hesitant to go since she kind of hates me, and I have a feeling she might do something. I reply with, of course, I would love to go with you. I would have a babysitter, but I can always get Baco to do that or something, or someone else. She nods in response with a smile, and we continue to drink our tea. We talk for about an hour or two, and I see Tommy getting up. I then say, how was your nap? Tommy then freezes and says, oh, good, pretty good. I then say, anything happen while I was gone? Tommy then has a blank stare on his face and says, nothing much. He then gives an awkward smile as if he's done something. I then say, I'm going to count to 5. He then gets worried, and I look a worried look, and I continue. 1, 2, 3, 4. He then says, we went to a bar. He covers his mouth and says, I'm sorry. It was Uncle Bakugo's idea. The others then woke up from the sudden burst of Tommy yelling, and I say, Bakugo, why the hell did you take my sons to a bar? He then looks at Tommy, and I say, oh, don't get mad at him. Look, I'm not mad, just why did you bring kids to a bar? He then says, they had their special, and I forgot it was today, so I brought the brats with me. I then say, did they drink anything there? He shakes his head, and I say, well, then, that solves that. You didn't do much wrong. Did you think it was so bad? Why did you think it was so bad? He then says, because Uncle Bakugo said not to tell you. I sigh and say, well, I'm not mad. Just don't go into bars with your uncle, because that's not a place for children. Now that I look at the time, it's kind of late. I should make dinner. I then get up and look over at Christian and say, would you like to stay over for dinner? She then says, sure, I can help. If you wouldn't mind. Bako's eyes then widen and say, Christian? She then says, hey, Bakugo. He then says, damn, it's been so long. I didn't think I would see you in like a couple years, but now here we are, and here of all places. She then says, yeah, but I bet Boom Boom Boy still has a temper. He then says, oh, how mature of you, Christian. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Lady Goddess of Death. How dare I slander Her Majesty's name, her goddess's name? While saying it as he rolls his eyes that could have rolled out of his sockets if he liked. I say, hey, none of that behavior. Both of you are going to help me. 1, out of choice, and 2, because you can't be doing that inappropriate behavior. So let's get started. He sighs, and we get to the kitchen with me as the kids giggle at the exchange, and Christian giggles too, which gives me butterflies a bit, but I ignore them. To be continued. Sorry if this is a bit short. My voice is a bit hoarse. And hope you liked it. And for the people who actually watch my videos, thank you. And those who comment, even if they're old videos, I still get the notifications. So if you have a request, just request it anywhere, honestly. I love you guys. So don't hesitate to ask for something, like an idea or a request, and just make it known. Bye, and this is London Silver. Bye.